You're looking at the most powerful rocket ever built, nearly 100 metres tall, packing 8.8 million pounds of thrust. The Space Launch System is about to begin a new era in human space exploration.
To all of us that gaze up at the moon, dreaming of the day humankind returns to the lunar surface, folks, we're here.
NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston is abuzz.
Everything's coming together. It's like we're getting to this critical mass.
Preparing to land the first woman and first person of colour on the moon as soon as 2025.
The thought of just being on the surface of the moon, living and working there, and looking back at our home planet, it's hard to imagine that as reality.
Jasmine Mogbelli is one of 42 astronauts eligible for the Artemis mission, which will go where no spacecraft has gone before. The lunar South Pole, 350,000 kilometres from Earth.
We're also talking about staying on the surface, not just going there and coming back, but setting up an entire lunar camp there.
Under construction, a mini space station to orbit the moon as a staging point for human access.
When you have to go from orbit around the moon to the surface, back to orbit around the moon, and then get back to Earth, and then safely land on Earth, the complexity of that mission is way higher.
In this enormous underwater training facility, astronauts practice moonwalking and collecting samples. And the Orion crew capsule, which will be stacked on top of the rocket, is almost ready to fly. We went inside the replica used for training.
So this is the astronauts' ride to the moon, but for the first mission these seats will be carrying mannequins, and that's so that NASA can really test the limits in terms of radiation exposure and the impacts of extreme heat and speed.
Artemis 1 will be a 6-week mission around the moon, exploring and experimenting.
We absolutely have to find out, number one, that we can launch crew members safely to the moon and bring them back safely.
Artemis 2 will have a crew to orbit the moon by 2024. Then Artemis 3 will make a lunar landing and history.
At the heart of it all, Mission Control, the centre of communication between Earth and space. From this room, flight controllers will oversee the Artemis missions, building on the legacy of the Apollo generation.
And looking beyond the moon.
But our ultimate goal is to go deeper into space and actually put humans on Mars.
Artemis 1 is slated for blast-off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida at the end of the month. At Mission Control, Houston, Amelia Adams, 9 News.